Can the Spurs come back, or is it over? Down 2-0, and they lost both games at home. This thing might be over, y'all. And let me say this. They say President Trump is going to be at game 3. They've already said they're shutting down the perimeter out. You know how people, the crowd is outside Madison Square Garden? Shut. If New York wins this finals, I don't know what might happen in the city of New York. And Russell Wilson has retired. Is he a Hall of Famer? Now, this ain't the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame where they let everybody in. This is the NFL Hall of Fame. Is Russell Wilson Super Bowl champion? Is he a Hall of Famer? Let's talk about all that and more on this episode of the Coach Cherry Show.
Get it, just tell me how. When you want it and gotta have it, it's slight work. Watch me do it.
The Spurs have struggled with the Knicks all season. Don't forget, in the regular season, the Knicks beat them 2-1. And the one game the Spurs won was a one-possession game. The Knicks could have swept the Spurs 3-0 in the regular season, and now they're up 2-0 in the finals. So in the 5 meetings this year, the Knicks could have beaten them all 5 times. Matchups. What is it about this matchup that the Spurs are struggling? The Knicks have scored 105 in both games. Come on, San Antonio. Where's your defense? Come on now. And game 1, Knicks beat the Spurs 105-95. Game 2, which the Spurs, I think, should have won, beat the Spurs 105-104. Game 1, I thought the Spurs were in control pretty much for 3 quarters. They had a double-digit lead, like late in the third quarter. What was it, 11, 13? Late in the third? They took Wemby out of the game, and New York made a run, and the Spurs, that was it. They never got it back. That momentum shifted, and they never got the momentum back. Sometimes in sports, when that momentum moves, see, when you're coaching, and I'm saying this as a former head coach, when you coach, you can make one wrong decision, and it can shift the course of the game. And I don't care what timeout you call. I don't care what substitution you make. I don't care what play you call. Sometimes you cannot get it back. Everything is flowing. And I don't fault Mitch Johnson. I don't fault Mitch because it was in the third quarter. The Spurs were up, I believe it was 13, game 1. And I was even saying, this might be a good time to give Wemby a breather. Now, right there, you got a decision to make as a coach. You got a decision to make. Do you take your star player out because you're up double digits to get him a breather? Or do you keep your foot on the gas and say, it's 13, let's see if we can push this up to 18 or 19 and then take him out. Now, sometimes it doesn't work like that. You could leave Wemby in and the lead does not increase. Or New York could have gone on a run with Wemby in the game. That's something you'll never know. But what we do know is when Wemby came off that floor, the Knicks went on a run, and then Jalen Brunson just simply took over the fourth quarter. And they won the game. They beat them by 10. Game 2, gosh, well, I say this about game 2. The Knicks were in control. They had a double-digit lead in the second half, and the Spurs made a run. So the Knicks may feel like, nah, we let them back in it. But late in the game, San Antonio had a chance to win. 3 things. Wemby gets the rebound. Once he gets the rebound in game 2, late in the game, under 10 seconds, he starts to advance it. Stephon Castle turns his back and says, the best player on the team has the ball. He's going to come down and make the game-winning play. Let me get out of his way. That's what any player would do. Michael Jordan gets the rebound. Oh, let me get out the way. Kobe, the late, great Kobe Bryant gets the rebound. Let me get out the way. LeBron, let me get out the way. Steph Curry, let me get out of his way. Anthony Edwards, get out of his way. The best player has the ball. Get out. And so, Wemby, don't forget now, when Wemby gets the rebound, Stephon Castle looks for a second like, is he going to outlet? Once Wemby takes the dribble, that's when Castle says, oh, he's got it. And then Wemby makes, I think it's just a young play. I think it's an inexperienced player in that moment. Passes it, Brunson gets the steal, gets fouled. And then Brunson makes big shots. He hasn't shot well from the field. He's only shooting 34% in these 2 games because I said going into the series, they got bodies they can throw at Brunson. Castle, Fox, Harper, Vasil, Champagny. They got bodies they can throw at Brunson. He's struggling. Now, he's making shots when they count or when it matters most, but he's struggling. But then at the end of the game, Spurs have a chance to win the game. They're only down 1. I don't like the shot that Wemby took. What kind of shot is that? A jump shot from the elbow? No, sir. Nope, that's not going to get it done. That's not getting it done. Victor Wembanyama is listed. I've seen 3 listings of his height. I've seen 7'4", 7'5", and 7'6". All of them are extremely tall. Victor Wembanyama has got to use his height as an advantage on the offensive end. Because I was telling my wife, I said, that last second shot, I'm going to De'Aaron Fox. I'm going to De'Aaron Fox because I feel like in a one-shot situation, he's the best option they have. Stephon Castle is still an inconsistent shooter. Dylan Harper, I wouldn't have an issue. I like Harper, Fox, and Castle. I wouldn't have an issue going to Dylan Harper, but I like Fox's quickness. I like that he can get to the rim. I like his mid-range pull-up, and he can also hit the 3. I would have gone to Fox. Wemby takes a jump shot from the elbow. Wait a minute, hold on. At 7'5", a shot to win a game in the NBA Finals. A jump shot from a 7'5"? No, sir. Are you kidding? If Wemby ever develops a post game, he becomes unstoppable. I think right now, he's not strong enough to secure position on the block. So you don't have to be as tall as him to defend him. You just need to be. Post position is about strength. It's about lower body strength. It's not even about your shoulders and your biceps. And it's not even about all that. It's about, can you lock down space with your lower body? And a Karl Anthony Towns is stronger than Victor Wembanyama. And OG Anunoby is stronger than Wemby. Mitchell Robinson is stronger than Wemby. Can you lock down the block? And I think right now Wemby's just not strong enough to do it. So his scoring is coming like a guard. He's shooting 3s and he's shooting pull-ups. That's what kind of advantage is that from a 7'5" guy? That's not what I mean. Yeah, sure, he can shoot over defenders, but at the end of the day, it's still a jump shot. He's got to develop a post game. Can you imagine him at 7'5" posting up? Oh, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. And because of that, that's one of the reasons Karl Anthony Towns is winning this matchup. You say winning the matchup because when I look at the numbers, Coach Cherry, Victor Wembanyama is averaging 27.5 points per game. Karl Anthony Towns is averaging 19.5. Okay. Wemby's averaging 10.5 rebounds. Karl Anthony Towns is averaging 12.5 rebounds. I got you. Wemby's averaging 3.5 blocks and a steal. Karl Anthony Towns is averaging 4 assists. And Cat is shooting 56% from the field. Here's why I tell you Cat is winning the matchup. I know Wemby's scoring more points. Cat is getting more rebounds. But here, more importantly, most of the time, Victor Wembanyama has a huge advantage in his matchup. Look at the OKC series. Chet and Hartenstein could do nothing with Wemby. Wemby won those matchups easily. And that gave the Spurs a huge advantage. I'm talking about he won those matchups easily on both ends of the floor. Now you're playing Karl Anthony Towns, who is a hooper. And what Karl Anthony Towns is doing, even if you feel like Wemby is winning the matchup, it's not by a landslide. It's not by much. So if Wemby's averaging 28, Carl's averaging 20. Wemby's averaging 11 rebounds, Carl's averaging 13. You see, he's kind of even. So now the Spurs don't have a huge advantage at the 5. Wemby has to come out and guard Karl Anthony Towns. He has to guard him. That's opening up underneath the basket for Knicks players to score. Because Karl can shoot the 3. So I said going into the series, make him play, Cat. Make him play. Close the gap in that matchup. Close that gap. Don't. If I said the series is going to be up to how Karl Anthony, not Jalen Brunson, not Mikal Bridges, not Josh Hart. It's going to be up to how Karl Anthony Towns plays. And he's doing exactly what he's supposed to be doing. Game 1, Cat, 18 points, 12 rebounds, 4 assists. Game 2, 21 points, 13 rebounds, 4 assists. He's the MVP right now. Series stops today, Cat's the MVP. And kudos to Mike Brown. Good job, Mike Brown, for putting him in that position. Good job. Mike Brown, I was saying last year, Cat should be the number 1 option. Why is Jalen Brunson at 6 feet the number 1? No. And this may be allowing Jalen Brunson to be fresher at the end of the game. So he can make these big shots down the stretch. But the Knicks, now, the Knicks look tougher than the Spurs. They just look tougher. I mean, these offensive rebounds, and that was a concern of mine for the Spurs going into this series. I said they don't have a front line. Other than Wemby, who's their front line? The Knicks have Cat, Mitchell Robinson, OG Anunoby. 3 big bodies. Who is the Spurs front line? Wemby? Who else? No, that's it. And so the Spurs need one more strong, athletic power forward. I wouldn't say center, but at least a power forward to help Wemby on the glass. And I think that's what's really deciding this series right now. The Knicks are just a bigger, stronger, tougher team. It may be over, y'all. It may be over. Now, the Spurs, obviously, Game 3 is a must-win. You lose Game 3, it's only a matter of time. You're just holding off the inevitable. If the Spurs can win Game 3, they got a shot. If they can make this thing 2-1, even if they lose Game 4 and they come back to San Antonio down 3-1, if they win Game 5 and make it 3-2, now you go back to Madison Square Garden Game 6 saying, if we can just win Game 6, we have Game 7 on our home floor. The Spurs, if the Spurs win Game 3, we have a series. Russell Wilson has retired from the NFL. Super Bowl champ Russell Wilson. He is now going to be a CBS sports broadcast analyst. I think he'll do, he played the game. He knows the game. So I think he'll do a good job. Is Russell Wilson, I think Russell had a great career. 14 years in the NFL. Is he a Hall of Famer? That's the question a lot of people are asking. Is Russell Wilson a Hall of Famer? Let me say this, y'all. When we talk about the NFL Hall of Fame, this ain't the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame where everybody gets in. If you score 1,000 points in high school, you might get in the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame. This is the NFL Hall of Fame. There are only about 36, 37 quarterbacks in the Hall of Fame for the NFL. Let me put that in more context. The NFL played its first game in 1920. The NFL is over 100 years old. And they only have 36 quarterbacks in? Wow. Y'all, that's tough. That's it. But I'll be honest with you. That's how I always viewed the Hall of Fame. I always viewed the Hall of Fame as this elite. It's the best of the best. Everyone doesn't. You could have a good career and still not get in. That's why when I look at the Basketball Hall of Fame and I see players getting in, I'm like, God, Lee, it's like if you just have a solid career, you're in. As a kid growing up, I always viewed, wow, so-and-so is a Hall of Famer. Man, that must be really tough to get in the Hall of Fame. It's the best of the best. And the Basketball Hall of Fame has just let me down. It's let me down. But not the NFL. 36, 37, that's it? Listen, y'all. If you, a league that's over 100 years old, wow. You would expect it to be, I'm not saying a high number, but you would expect that number to be somewhere around 70, 75, 36, 37. And so look, now look at Russell Wilson's look at his resume. Look at his resume. Super Bowl champion, went to back-to-back Super Bowls, 2014 and 2015. Let me run down some of his stuff. Two-time NFC champ, Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year, Pepsi NFL Rookie of the Year, second team All-Pro, a 10-time Pro Bowler. 10 times. The NFL passer rating leading in 2015. Hold on. The NFL passer rating leader in 2015. The NFL passing touchdowns leader in 2017. The Bart Starr Award in 2022. I mean, the 3-time Steve Largent Award, Seattle Seahawks top 50 player, NFC Offensive Player of the Month, NFL Offensive Rookie of the Month, 11-time NFC Offensive Player of the Week. I mean, and there's other things. 7 times FedEx Air Player of the Week. It's a lot. Russell Wilson is very accomplished. Let me just ask you this. Do you think Russell Wilson's a Hall of Famer? If your answer is yes, there's nothing else to say to you. I don't need to. There's no discussion. I don't need to try to convince you or anything. And I'm not saying he's a Hall of Famer. I'm not saying yes or no either way. I'm just putting it out there. If you say no, if you say, Coach, because to me, a lot of this is about feeling too. What kind of feeling did that player give you? How much nostalgia does that player give you? I think that to me, that's a big part of the voting. What about the numbers? Be careful with these numbers now. Numbers, you got to put numbers. I always tell people, you have to put numbers in context. Numbers don't tell you everything. They just don't. Because I'm going to say this to you right now. If you said Russell Wilson is a Hall of Famer, got you. If you're saying no because of your remembrance of his career and the feeling that he gave you or did not give you. But if you say, well, he doesn't have the numbers, Coach Cherry. Ooh, now that, I don't know about that. Did you know that Russell Wilson has more passing yards? We're talking about all-time passing leader. Has more passing yards than Joe Montana. Did you hear what I just said? Now, some people have Joe Montana as the greatest quarterback of all time. Joe Montana, as far as all-time passing yards, is not even in the top 20. And you want to go off numbers? Joe Montana passing yards is not, and yes, he played with Jerry Rice. I know. Yes, he played with Dwight Clark. He's not even, yes, he played with Roger Craig. Roger Craig had 1,000 yards receiving when you're out the backfield. Joe's not even in the top 20. With Jerry Rice, John Taylor, Dwight Clark, Freddie Solomon, Roger Craig, Joe Montana is not even top 20. And some people have him as the GOAT. Because numbers don't tell the whole story. And I've often said, it's about postseason play. We know Joe Montana has 4 Super Bowls, and he never lost in a Super Bowl. That's why a lot of people have him as the GOAT. You say, well, Coach Chair, what about the touchdowns that Russell Wilson, he didn't have enough touchdowns. Oh, he didn't? He threw more touchdowns than John Elway. Russell Wilson did. He threw more touchdowns than John Elway and Joe Montana. Again. So Russell Wilson has more passing yards than Joe Montana. He has more passing touchdowns than Joe Montana and John Elway. He has more passing touchdowns than Warren Moon. And you're telling me he doesn't have the numbers? Oh, he's got Hall of Fame numbers now. If you're going based off numbers, Russell Wilson is in the Hall of Fame. So something else is keeping him out of the Hall of Fame. Well, what about efficiency? Okay, coach, you gave me the yards, you gave me the touchdowns. What about his efficiency? Oh, you want that? Passer rating. Russell Wilson is number 5 in NFL history. Wow. He's top 5 in passer rating in NFL history. So he has a higher passer rating than Tom Brady. Again, if we're going strictly off numbers, Russell Wilson is in the Hall of Fame. I said passing yards, passing touchdowns, passer rating. And don't forget, y'all, he's also a Super Bowl champion. Well, wait a minute. Hold on. I got some more Russell Wilson numbers for you. What about completion percentage? Gotcha. Russell Wilson is top 25 all time. I said there are over 30 quarterbacks in the Hall of Fame. Russell Wilson's 25th in completion percentage in the history of the league. Numbers are there, y'all. Now, does he get in? I don't know. Well, maybe he had too many turnovers. Oh, interceptions is part of it. Russell Wilson is number 99 in NFL history in interceptions. Russell Wilson is almost not even in the top 100 in interceptions. He's 99th. So he didn't turn the ball over a lot. He's top 20 in everything else. And then he's right at 100 in interceptions. Hall of Fame numbers. Now, does he get in? I don't know. When you look at the quarterbacks that are in the NFL Hall of Fame, numbers-wise, he has these guys beat. But when I say these names, do you think of him in this group? Troy Aikman. These are quarterbacks that are in the Hall of Fame. Troy Aikman, Terry Bradshaw, John Elway, Brett Favre, Dan Fouts, Jim Kelly, Peyton Manning, Dan Marino, Joe Montana. Is Russell Wilson in that group when you think about Warren Moon, Joe Namath, Johnny Unitas, Steve Young, Kurt Warner? When I say those names, do you think of Russell Wilson in that group? I don't know. I don't know if he gets in. In the Super Bowl they won, he wasn't the MVP. It was Malcolm Smith, the linebacker for the Seahawks, that won the MVP. Maybe had they won that second Super Bowl where Marshawn Lynch should have gotten the ball, if he would have been back-to-backs and he probably would have received the MVP, I think he would have a strong case then. With his resume right now, his resume is Hall of Fame. I don't know if people view him as a Hall of Fame. Y'all know I talk about the eye test. I don't know if he's viewed as a Hall of Fame quarterback. I don't know. We'll see. But I think he's going to do a good job as the broadcast analyst on CBS Sports. Finals are wrapping up. I saw the Charlotte Hornets doing their off-season workouts. The Panthers are in OTAs and mini camp is right around the corner. And then training camp will be late July. A lot of good things. I think the Panthers and Hornets, we'll see. Both had good seasons. Will they continue into next season? Someone asked me, what do you think about the Panthers? I think they're going to be a better team. I think they're going to be more talented, but their schedule is tougher. Does that balance out? They were 8-9 last season. I could see a 9-8. maybe 10-7, maybe. But I could see 8. I could see 9-8. That's probably what I would predict right now. But we'll see. This has been another episode of the Coach Cherry Show. Again, I'm your host, Coach Cherry, Jesus Christ lover, husband, father, former head coach, independent rap artist, former college athlete. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Like and subscribe button. Don't forget to follow my 2 sons' accounts. My oldest son is doing movie critiques, television critiques at Real Thoughts. That's REEL, and then the word thoughts with a Z at the end. Follow him on Instagram and YouTube. My youngest son is getting into making beats for music. Beats by A-Train. A-Train. Beats by A-Train. Follow both of them. Make sure you check into my YouTube page each day for shorts that are being posted. Until next time, signing off, this is Coach Cherry. Peace. God bless you.
Understood faith plus talent plus drive, so he knew I could. Yeah. Looking back, I probably could have scored more. Watching old film, look at the scoreboard. No regrets, 'cause